So there are B2B products and there are B2C products, which means that there are B2B product managers and B2C product managers. And there are products that have both. What's the best choice? What's the difference? I'm here to help. Hi, I'm Dr. Bart and I'll be your product management teacher. Today, I want to tell you about the B2C and B2B aspects of product management. Let's get the abbreviations out of the way. B2B means obviously business to business, and B2C means business to consumer. It all comes down to the fact that B2B companies will serve other companies and bigger enterprises and will allow them to, execute their business. So a B2B product will provide services to other businesses so they can, run their business, say the web hosting companies or something that provides accounting software. And B2C products will provide services to consumers so they can run their lives and solve everyday problems like, Skype, for example. The differences are quite significant, and while the core of product management will be the same, looking for value, delivering the best software you can, there are significant differences that you should be aware of. I have worked for both types of companies, so I have a good idea on the differences, and here they are. Let's start with B2B. When you are a B2B product manager, you'll be very close to your clients. And I mean, you'll be having calls with them, you'll be meeting them in an office, you'll be discussing product head to head, and you will understand them very well. You will have hand-on experience, and if something goes wrong, they will have your number to call you ASAP. So that means that your development will be very much contract and client driven. What does that mean? That means that the roadmap you'll be building will consist mostly of requests and feature changes that come directly from the clients and from the sales department to make sure that they can complete a sale, sign a contract, and that will be the core of your life. That also means that you want to be as much data-driven, because your data-drivenness will be mostly focused on the performance of a feature or making sure that it works as intended, and it won't be as often, or if any, the source of new features for you. That would also mean that you will be often developing internal features that will help you to manage the clients, help the accounting and client support departments to run their operations, and it will be very strictly tied up to your product. So a lot of work will be there to make sure that your external and internal in-company clients will be happy. With B2B products, very often there won't be a great emphasis on the UX. Those products won't be the most beautiful looking, maybe the user experience won't be the greatest, the screens could take a lot of optimization, but the product is there to work, to make sure that the employee of your client can execute his or her work. I've been recently given an option to buy stocks from a company that I work with, and I was given an interface from an US legal company that looked directly like taken from the 90s. And whatever, it worked. There was no need to make it beautiful. Though it would improve the experience, I'm pretty much sure that all the development focus went elsewhere. That also means that your work will be more steady and predictable because your releases won't be as often. You will have a release every 3, 6, 12 months because your corporate clients can't take any changes too rapidly. They will always need to prepare, to retrain their personnel and make sure that everyone is ready for the changes, and they can't afford any disruption. Thus, you are most likely looking into very long sprints that it will take forever to get feedback on your work. And you are often not really interested in the feedback. You just want to push the feature that your client knows he or she needs. So that's a very different type of development. Obviously, it's not always like this, but it's to give you the general idea. You can have B2B companies that work a bit like B2C ones, and the main difference here will be the size of the clients and how the sales department works. But let's now move to B2C products, business to consumer. How are those products usually run? That's a more classical Agile Scrum way of development. That's where you are very data driven, that you have so many different users. Now, there are clients too, but let's say that for B2B we have clients and for B2C we have users. So the amount of users is so big that you can't really talk to them. I mean, you can, no one prevents you from that. But if you talk to 10, 20, 30 people, it will most likely not give you the right level of insight into the product to help you make the best product calls possible. No, that's not enough data source. You need to look at the whole population. You need to have it very well presented in a data analytics suite, and only based on that make decisions. You can talk to your users for inspiration, not for product decisions. Since you can't talk to your users directly, you need to make sure that your product sells by itself. So it has a great UX, that it looks just wonderful, and everybody wants to use that and are not confused and don't require training to get the best out of your offer. That's a very different approach to development, and it will impact your team structure and the way you develop and release your increments. It also gives you much more opportunities to take risky experimental solutions and be ahead of the curve, to try something that no one else tried, to do some small changes in the product and see what happens. This is nothing that you would have otherwise do on a corporate B2B product, because it could result in a disaster. Whereas in a B2C one, even if something goes wrong, you can just quickly roll back the change and, well, carry on with your lives, provided you didn't really hurt your users. If something goes wrong with Skype, no harm done, right? If it's a banking app, then oh my god. So make sure to know when to experiment and when to take risks, but you are much more likely to be a product scientist that experiments with a B2C product than with a B2B one. And that is being activated by a frequent release cycle or relatively short loop of data feedback. So you'll be releasing every 2 to 4 weeks, and you have very quick information on whether the development direction you have taken is the correct one or not. Now, let's ask the fundamental question. Which one is better? Well, it really all depends on you, on your character and what you prefer. I would say that the B2C option is the one that's closer to a true product management experience because of the shorter development periods, because you can actually get the feedback from the users quickly and act on it. And let me just say, this distinction in my video is like comparing a very edge case to another edge case. You can have B2B products that will operate with a short development cycle, that will have wonderful UX, and you can have B2C products that will take forever and will just make sure that they work and not care about the interface all that much. You can mix and match different philosophies of product development, but those were the main archetypes you can meet and that you can consider for your product management journey. However, regardless whether you are to become a B2B or B2C product manager, you need help to become a great product manager. And that's where I step in. In the video description, there are links to my Udemy course, the original one, the one that's 11 hours of material on how to become a great product manager, and its younger brother on Skillshare that's much shorter, more concise, but with the same great curriculum. And the other one you can get for free with Skillshare's 7-day free trial, and I'm leaving the right link in the description. Thank you for watching the video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.